Hello, guys. Nice to see you all here. My name is Natalia. I will be a moderator of today's next lecture, and I'd like to welcome you all wholeheartedly to this exciting lecture that is dedicated to the topic AI impact and empowering tools for business analysts, delivered by Leah Yeghoyants. Thank you so much for deciding to talk about this interesting topic today. And I'd like to ask you, how are you? What's on your mind? Are you as excited as I am to talk about this?
Obviously, thank you, Natalia, and thank you everyone who is with us today. I'm super excited and super honored to be your speaker today and present the topic I really like and I really follow. So I hope it will be interesting for everyone who stays with us. How are
Yeah.
you?
Oh, I'm also excited to hear about it. And I just like to say just a couple of organizational things. That just a kind reminder that this session is going to be recorded, and the recording is going to be available in about 1 week. And all the audience is highly encouraged to post questions anytime in the chat, and we will have the last 15 minutes dedicated to the answers to Q&A session. I will be responsible for choosing the most interesting questions, and Leah will help us with getting the answers. So, Leah, how do you think? Can we start already?
Yes, I think we can. Thank you, Natalia. As I said, I'm really excited to be presenting with you my experience with AI products and the transformative potential of AI as I see it. Just a little bit about myself. Probably some of you who are connected already know me, but for those who do not, I currently work as a senior business analyst at EPAM Systems, where I work on various enterprises to accelerate growth and innovation for their digital products. For over 4 years, I have been working on products powered by AI, whether it was consulting an existing startup or building a product from scratch. I had an opportunity to explore and use AI for proof of concept, for MVP, for alpha or beta releases too. So during this time, I managed to unveil the power of AI and dive deeper into its use cases, which I will share with you today, and hopefully it will be useful for you. Fun fact about me, I like trying new technology so much that my boyfriend surprises me with subscriptions to newly released innovative tools so I can check them out. So I consider myself as a technology pioneer, and since we're talking about AI, and AI is a trending technology currently, I'm an AI technology pioneer because I like buying subscriptions to the products which do not even perform at their best, just to try them out. It's obviously not about AI, but because we're concentrated on AI today, I want to share my belief in regards to AI. And I think I heard this quote from the director of digital lab at Stanford University, but it was so close to my heart. I do believe that there is an ongoing debate whether AI is going to take our jobs or substitute our roles or make us lazy and sad. I truly believe that AI is going to enhance our life and make it more efficient, and it will not be taking our jobs. Our jobs will be taken by the person who uses AI. That is why today I will present a little bit about AI, a little bit about the world and the realm of AI, what goes under it, the different terminology that we hear, the history of AI, when it all started. I will also talk a little bit about the impact on business and economy, the investments world. I will share empowering tools for business analysis, but this is not just limited to BA's work. Obviously, the non-BA audience who are here with us, I'm sure you will also be interested in the tools I will share. And I will share some use cases that I crafted for you that demonstrate how a work that would usually take weeks or hours could be performed in 15 to 20 minutes today. But before we dive deeper into all of these, I would like to kindly ask the audience to drop in the chat the names of AI-powered products which you currently use or you have tried that are helpful in your personal or professional life. I'm eager to read the chat after my presentation too, but I think the other audience is also going to be interested in the tools you will share. And I really hope you do use some tools beyond ChatGPT, because according to a lot of researches, and this is just one research that I'm presenting today, in just 2 years, 95% of customer interactions will be powered by AI. So imagine a world where we will have the efficiency everywhere. We will have the speed of AI everywhere. So if we keep up with the trend, we are going to be in it. But if we're not interested in it, we are going to be left behind. But what is this artificial intelligence? I know we hear some different words, and AI is a trending tech buzzword. We hear it everywhere today. It has brought curiosity and fear, so it's understandable why people talk, and different professionals, starting from legal, ending with tech, talk about AI. So let's start with this definition. According to McKinsey, artificial intelligence is a machine's ability to perform cognitive functions that we usually associate with humans. So whenever a machine is able to perform a function that we usually associate with our brain, we can say that it has artificial intelligence. There are also various terms that we hear together with AI, like AI/ML, deep learning, NLP, computer vision. So I created this visualization to help you place it visually in your mind where each stands in the realm of AI. So you can see that the AI world is big, and this is definitely not all of it, but the main terminology that we hear is on your screens. So you can see that we have data science, that obviously some part of AI uses data science a lot, but it's not entirely AI. We see robotics as well. We know we do have some robots that are artificially intelligent, but not all robots are artificially intelligent. So this is also a near field, but not entirely AI. We also have machine learning placed here in the middle. And machine learning is a branch of AI that focuses on developing algorithms and models that allow computers to automatically learn from data without explicit programming. So these ML systems, these ML models can adapt and improve their performance with minimal human intervention. We have a deeper layer to this learning process, and it's called deep learning. And deep learning is a subset of machine learning that employs artificial neural networks. Don't be scared of the word, but this is, imagine how our brain works. So deep learning simulates the learning process of the human brain. So it's deeper, it recognizes the intricate patterns in various types of data, such as images, text, sounds. And last two terminology, NLP and computer vision. So NLP is a field of AI that deals with the interaction between computers and human language. So it involves techniques to understand, interpret, generate human language, work with text, work with language. An example of this is obviously a well-known ChatGPT or maybe Siri. And computer vision, this refers to the field of AI that enables computers to understand and interpret visual information, so images or text. This involves tasks such as object recognition within the image, image classification, scene understanding. This is the world of AI as we can see today. And there are just a few more terms that I want to I want you to pay your attention to. So a newly emerged buzzword is generative AI that we hear everywhere. But what is this generative AI, and how is it different from predictive or traditional AI? So predictive and traditional AI focuses on using historical data to make predictions or decisions. And these decisions are made based on patterns and correlations within this data. It involves techniques such as machine learning, where models are trained on labeled data to make accurate predictions. This traditional AI or predictive AI is usually used in fields such as finance, for example, business, operations. As for generative AI, obviously it can be used in various fields again, but it is concerned with creating new and original content. So it resembles the patterns and characteristics of the training data, and this is very important to remember that it still operates on top of data. But it generates new content. It generates new images, new text, new videos, and sounds. Apparently you already guessed, generative AI is often used in creative industries such as art, music, fashion, but also it can be used in businesses and to automate various business processes too. Last but not least, and my favorite topic probably, AI and AGI. So artificial narrow intelligence and artificial general intelligence. If you follow AI blogs or AI news, you probably come across these terms too. AI or ANI is a term which represents the AI that performs specific tasks efficiently. While AGI possesses human-level understanding and learning capabilities. So if some of you in the audience watched the movie WALL-E, you can see the image here. You remember that in the movie, WALL-E was just trained to collect garbage. So this is a great example of artificial narrow intelligence because it was trained to perform a specific task. And artificial general intelligence, which is non-existent yet, but this is where the world goes, artificial general intelligence will be able to perform complex tasks, will be able to possess human level of understanding. This is still science fiction. There are no any systems that achieved artificial general intelligence. With this, I want to share with you my prediction. This means that we could have robot servants by 2030. So we could have robots that you could ask to make you coffee and do a laundry for you in your personal life, and you could have robots that could automate your tasks or daily agendas. So with this, we are entering the sixth wave of innovation, and this is the Industrial Revolution. So according to the theory developed by economist Joseph Schumpeter in 1942, business cycles operate under long waves of innovation. This means that as markets are disrupted, key clusters outsize effects on the economy. So for example, the railway industry, you can see in 1845, the revolution of railway industry had an impact and it completely reshaped urban demographics and trade. Similarly, for the fifth wave that started in 1990s, digital networks, the rise of internet, it disrupted entire industries from media to retail. Today, we can't even imagine our life without digital networks, right? So today we are in the sixth wave of innovation, and it's marked by artificial intelligence and digitization across various industries, information of things, robotics, drones. It will likely paint an entirely new picture. The time to complete tasks could shift from hours to even seconds. It could even shift from weeks to seconds. Also, an interesting fact about the diagram you see, you can easily notice that each wave of innovation takes a shorter time to transit. So this is also important to note. So we can see that while the earlier innovation revolutions took too long to have an impact on various industries. Currently, with the rise of internet, we're so connected to each other that these innovations happen really fast and affect industries really fast. But if you think that AI was invented nearly in 2020s or in 1990s, let me surprise you. It was long before that. Drop in the chat if you have ideas or if you read something interesting on whether when was AI invented. But according to the AI history, the first AI breakthrough was during World War II with the Turing test. And this English mathematical genius, Alan Turing, it all started with him as he proposed a test. So he said, if a machine could trick a human into thinking that it is a human, then it has intelligence. And guess what? He proved it. He proved it with so much less of technology and research. He did prove that he proved and cracked the German Enigma code, and he was able to save millions of lives back then. But this was very important because even till today, this Turing test is being used to prove the quality of some systems. 5 years later from this, the AI term was born, and it all started like that. Machines started to express intelligence. There are various examples. Everything wouldn't be able to be placed on this slide, but some of my favorite examples are here. For example, Deep Blue, which was a computer. It was developed by IBM. And this Deep Blue computer was able to win the world chess champion Garry Kasparov. Then the era of virtual assistants started, first with Eliza, but later the famous examples like Siri, Alexa, and today we have ChatGPT. But the ancestors of ChatGPT was just a GPT model, a generative pre-trained transformer that was developed again by OpenAI in 2018. And it was developed and made and had a better version with each year. So today we have what we have. I want you also to pay attention to the AI winter here. If you go deeper into history, there are like 2 AI winters, but let's concentrate on it on a high level. So AI winter that started in approximately 1970s. It was precipitated by failures of expert systems. So there was a lot of investment put into these systems that were called expert systems, but they were proved to be expensive and unreliable. So imagine these many years had passed and AI is just being risen. Why? Because for 2 reasons, as I see it. First of all, there were not many machines who could store the necessary data for training the model. It was really hard at that time. The machines were really slow. So that is the first reason. The second reason was that there was no data. And we believe that we are currently in the AI summer. Why? Because today more data is created per hour than in an entire year 20 years ago. Just imagine that in an hour of me conducting this presentation, more data is being created in the world than when my parents were my age, for example. So this is huge, and there are a lot of industries that still have a lot of data which is not being leveraged too. So there is a lot of opportunity in this sense. While talking about opportunities, let me also touch upon the topic of investments. What happens in the current investment world? So we saw that back then in the AI winter, investors stopped investing. There's not a lot of research yet because we're just starting, but you can see that companies in just a couple of years went from seeing no impact from their AI investments to seeing measurable results in 2022. And I'm pretty sure in 2023, this figure is really different and fascinating too. So firms have gone from seeing no return on AI to seeing sizable returns in just 3 years, as you can see. And this is going to be accelerated in growth for sure, because a lot of companies report planning investing more into AI. Now I want to perform a little test with you. Allow me to demonstrate how AI can significantly enhance productivity, leading to increased wages for employees and improved company performance. So I really wanted to conduct this test with you. I know there is a lot of debate on whether AI is good or bad. I want to prove how we can use it for the good of our productivity, of the country, and of the economy, and also for the business where we contribute. So to measure productivity of a country, we need to look at its GDP. And for those coming from non-business, non-economics background, I'll just briefly explain. GDP is a gross domestic product. So this is a measure that represents the total market value of all final goods and services that are produced within a specific period of time. So imagine we look at this country and it generates a GDP of $1 trillion in a year. And its people worked for 20 billion hours to generate this value. So the labor productivity, the general labor productivity of this country would be a simple calculation, and it would be approximately $50 an hour. This measure is crucial in economics because it defines the wages, it defines the business processes, it defines everything. So now let's look at the picture with AI. Imagine these same people living in this country, they started using AI products. And with AI, obviously, they will be able to generate the same value in a shorter period of time. So just on a high level, I try to minimize the amount spent on generating the same value by really little, but you know that AI is able to perform tasks even faster. But just to be really pessimistic about this, so let's say its people work 15 billion hours with AI to generate the same value. You can see that labor productivity has risen by approximately 10-12% here. Which shows that businesses will have more opportunity, more ability to pay to the employees. And also, this figure shows that we will increase the consumer's purchasing power, because labor productivity is highly connected to the consumer's purchasing power too. Obviously, if you look really close to this, you will also notice that this also talks about cutting some job functions, and you are right. Any innovation wave have cut job functions and added new ones. And that is why it is so important to stay up to date with AI. That is why so many people, different professionals, talk about AI, because they understand that the usage of AI products is crucial to stay competitive in the market. Whether you're an employee or whether you're a business, it is really important to stay up to date, or else there is going to be someone else who will be more effective, more efficient. But how we can start using this AI, how to know about it. So I will share with you some of my tips. And the first one, I really want to share with you some of my favorite tools. And I didn't put ChatGPT here on purpose because I want to show that ChatGPT is not the only AI tool that can generate quality at this time. There are a lot of tools that are still on the path of being really greatest work friend for us, but there are also other tools besides ChatGPT that can help us. So whether you're a BA or not, I'm sure you do some research. Some of my favorite tools are shown here. So the first one is Elicit, and this is an AI research assistant, but it has a focus on academic papers. It's also, let me give you a hint, it's also as good as the prompt you put in. So it's better to define exactly what you need the research for, and it will provide you the research in the format that you can use. Omni, I will also show how this tool operates a little bit later in one of the use cases. But Omni conducts a research for you in 5 to 10 minutes. And you may think like, I can use ChatGPT, why do I need to use this tool, right? So the way ChatGPT or GPT model in general works, it predicts the next best word for your prompt. So you can see it provides you a creative writing. It doesn't conduct research from the web. It doesn't conduct research. It doesn't analyze unless you give it data and ask it to summarize. So what Iomni does, Iomni takes your prompt, it divides it into logical tasks, and it performs this logical task. So for example, it says, find all of the websites that are concerned with this ask, then analyze the websites and find the competitors that were asked. And logically, it constructs the research for you. It also provides you the resources that it has used, so you can go deeper, check, maybe edit, or add more information. Perplexity, another tool. I would say this is a best quick search tool. I really like it. You can use it. It's free and it's open. You can just search right now and try it. There are really interesting questions, so you can see everyone's questions there as well and get inspired. So these were about research. So if you work with data, and whether you're a data analyst or BA or product person, I'm sure you work with data, and we will have to work with data even more in the future. So the first tool that I want to share is Agelix, and this tool is for analyzing data in Excel and spreadsheets. It provides really interesting tool set. It's a little more advanced than Formula Bot. So here I also inputted Formula Bot for those of you who work with Excel sheets a lot and need to remember so many formulas. Obviously, no one can remember these formulas by heart, but Formula Bot generates these formulas for you by just, if you ask it in a text prompt, it will generate the formula for you. Polymer search. Polymer search is another interesting tool. I will also demonstrate it a little bit later in my use cases. Polymer search, you can upload your Excel, CSV, or any data file, and it will become like a Google for your data. So you can ask it questions, and as an answer, it will provide you infographics, some graphs, bar charts that you can use later to visualize your data or create dashboards. It's still in beta version, so it's still really early to validate if this is the best similar tool, but I really like using it for really large scale Excel files. There's also Super AI. It's still not available, but I really highly advise you to check, because I have really high hopes with Super AI tool for data visualization and data analysis. I really hope it's going to be great when it's released, and I think in a couple of months we can look into it once again. If you work with text, I would say Copy AI and BART. Obviously, ChatGPT as well, but the difference between a ChatGPT and BART is the Google's similar tool, chat tool, but BART was trained on Infiniset, and it's a data set that includes Common Crawl, Wikipedia, documents, anything from the web, but it includes everything in real time, so it's able to search the web in real time, while ChatGPT was created and it's sourced and in 2021. So anything after 2021, ChatGPT doesn't still know. As for Copy AI, this is a ChatGPT-like tool, but it's really interesting because it is trained to generate catchy texts. So if you want some marketing copy, some social media copy, you can obviously use Copy AI as well. As for images, so these are my absolute favorites, but some of these like Visily and Microsoft Copilot are still not available for public. I just inputted this here to give you a heads up. Please follow. These are really great tools. So Visily is able to generate wireframes in seconds by just asking it to. So you can generate me an iOS app wireframe for a real estate website, and it will do it in seconds. So it's easier to edit it and then present to your tech team, maybe check the feasibility of the new feature in seconds. Adobe Firefly, I will show what it does in a little bit, but it's really great tool, and it's a really great example of how a company invested into AI technology and the company performance just jumped. If you ask me about Midjourney, I will say it's probably, if you ask me like one AI tool that you should pay for, I would say it's definitely Midjourney on Discord, because it generates great images, real live images based on your prompt. I will also demonstrate how it works in a little bit. You could also generate presentations by your text prompts. So Beautiful AI generates great slides by just asking it to. There's Synthesia that allows you to choose a person avatar, define the tone of voice, define the text, and it will talk for you. So to generate some videos, some explainer videos. Crisp is a nice tool if you work a lot online and if you conduct presentations online, because it's a noise cancellation tool. You're able to work from coffee shop, from anywhere, and the background noise won't disturb your audience. Video is again is a similar tool to Synthesia. And for management, Notion and Collato is still in beta version, but I like the idea because they create a Google for product teams. So you can input all of your documentation, all of your product-related information into Collato, and your team will just have to ask questions and get the answers right from there. And Notion, you can use Notion AI to just combine everything that you do in the other tools, ask it to organize it in the way you want. Probably some of you are excited to already see what these tools do. So I generated some use cases for us, 2 use cases. And the first use case is imagine you are a product manager or just a person who wants to start a startup, and you want to create a new product proposal to present to investors or teams. So as a first step, I started from the very beginning, like generating the idea. I prefer using Google Spark to generate the idea, first of all, because, as I said, it's able to search and get you the answers in real time from the web, unlike ChatGPT that is trained up until 2021 data. And in this example, I just had a hypothetical example a couple of days ago to generate a feature idea for a real estate website. So I generated various ideas, and while I talked to it, it was able to generate a neighborhood insights tool feature for my real estate website. And it generates it in a way that it also is able to provide the technology that you can use, the objectives, the key metrics, etc. Obviously, I like the idea because I like the idea that you can search for an apartment and also understand what's the neighborhood of this apartment, what's the crime rate there. But I wanted to validate this idea before putting it into development or presenting to anyone. So to validate the idea, I used Iomni, and Iomni, as I mentioned, is a research assistant tool that searches the necessary materials and provides you a summary of research. It's really nice because in this research, I asked it to conduct a competitive research for neighborhood insights for a real estate website, and you can see that it was able to analyze the competitors, get me the key features of the competitors, get me even user reviews who used a similar feature. So as I see, there is not much competition, but from user reviews, I saw that people actually ask about the neighborhood of the property. So I decided to give this a try. But I wanted to check the feasibility, the technical feasibility with my team. And because I worked with tech guys a lot, I know that they like to see things so they better understand. So I have to create wireframes. And here, because Visily is still not available to the public, I will not share it, but there is a WireGen, which is a plugin in Figma. It's currently available. Again, you can try it. It's not very great, but it's great what it does in a couple of seconds. So I asked it to generate a wireframe for my new feature, and it divided it into, you can see the tasks, like what pages it will need. And in just a couple of seconds, it creates me a wireframe for both phone and tablet, which I can later add to Figma and edit the way I want. So I really like this, and because I like this, because the feasibility with the tech team was great, I decided to create an explainer video to present it to the stakeholders or potential investors for the feature, or whatever the situation is. And I used Copy AI because, as I mentioned, this tool is able to generate catchy phrases, and that's exactly what I needed for a short explainer video of my new feature. So in a couple of seconds, I get my video script, and I head to Synthesia. I choose the avatar and I generate the following video. Uh, before going to Synthesia, I decide to generate high fidelity screens because I understand that just with wireframes, my audience, investors, or users are not going to understand me. But I don't need the very final screens. So I asked Midjourney on Discord to generate me some wireframes, and you can see the result right here. It generates 4 options at a time, and I chose these 2. You can play with it. You can it's as great as the prompt you give to it. And if you want to generate the final screens, you can take this one step further. You can take the high resolution screens generated by Midjourney. You can input them into the Adobe Firefly, Photoshop or Illustrator, and using the Adobe Firefly feature, you can edit the text, you can edit the elements the way you want, but you will have the initial screen to build on. So I generated the screens, and now I inputted all of my materials into Synthesia with the text and asked it to generate the explanation. So you can see this was created in 10 minutes, and 8 minutes were spent on waiting the video to render. So if you spend a little more time and you edit the face expressions, you can even edit the brow lifts. You can get a video that could really be a quality video to even use on production, to explain features, etc. These are the tools that we use to cover a new feature creation for this use case. And there is another short use case that I will be presenting you shortly. For anyone who wants to take a screenshot, I'll just give a couple of seconds. The next use case, let's imagine your manager or someone from the marketing team asked you to create an analysis of the feature usage and present it to them. So to create an analysis, obviously we need to get this data, and let's say we got the data in an Excel or CSV form. And to analyze the data in a couple of seconds, I just used Polymer Search. I dropped the file into the Polymer Search product, and it generated the questions that I can potentially ask based on my data. You can see here that it generates real-time bar charts, graphs, and it also has dashboards that you can use. After analyzing this data, I need to create a presentation, and let's say I'm not really good with visuals and I don't have much time and my designer is really on vacation. So I used Beautiful AI to create a presentation and just asked it to create a presentation for a feature usage for the past 30 days. And in a couple of seconds, you can see it will generate slides for me. And I really want you to show the quality of the slides. You can see here, I hope it's not too small on your screen, but you can see the quality of slides. It even generates images and texts that you can edit later in the editor. But you can see there is a timeline infograph, there is a bar chart, really similar to the one that we had in our data analysis. So I want to add some more visual images, but browsing the web, I don't find anything creative or catchy. So I again use Midjourney to generate a different kind of content. You can see that Midjourney is able to generate various styles of images. I input them into my presentation and I conduct a presentation with the stakeholders online using Crisp from a coffee shop, from a relaxing place. And I'm not worried about the car noises or children running around because my audience is not going to be disturbed. This is another short use cases. Obviously, all of these tools that I demonstrated can be used for your specific situation, but just understand what's the technicality, what's the ability of these tools. If there is a case that you didn't find the tool that would cover, I believe there should be an AI for that. So just sharing with you this source that I really enjoyed using last week, because it's able to retrieve any AI product for your use case. You just ask it what you need and it will bring all of the AI powered products that can help you with your task. A little bit surprising news, because I want you to go out of this presentation and be able to talk to people about the recent news. So firstly, a couple of months ago, NVIDIA, a large research company, introduced a wave of cutting-edge AI research that enables developers and artists to bring their ideas to life. And this is just one example here. So you can see the motion of hair. This is done by AI, and the technology behind it and the case. So humans, we as humans, we have on average 100,000 hair on our heads, and with each of these hairs reacts dynamically to an individual motion and the surrounding environment. So traditionally, creators have used physics formulas to calculate hair movement for real life experiences. For example, if they work in movies or cartoons or maybe game development. But now NVIDIA allows to just automate everything, as you can see on the image. This is just one of the cutting edge technologies that NVIDIA introduced, and the company profile obviously was increased a lot. Another interesting tool is the one that I talked about, Adobe Firefly. Me personally being a tech geek, but really, really bad at using Photoshop or Illustrator technology. For me, this was a breakthrough because currently I'm able to use Photoshop to change the background by just asking in text. You can see that I can ask it to change the colors, to add some more background to my image, to do anything, and it's really quality too. And again, Adobe also had a rise with the introduction of this AI technology. Last but not least, this is the very recent news by Unity. So Unity introduced two features, one of which was called Muse. So this is great for game developers or anyone who works in game industry. So now you can actually generate game characters or even textures in a very realistic form by just text prompts. You can see what it does, and this is the future. So game development is not going to take months anymore, hopefully. And last but not least, Microsoft Copilot. Probably our tech background, people already know this. Microsoft, this Copilot was also on GitHub, but Microsoft also introduces Copilot for its Microsoft products, and you will be able to perform so many tasks with Microsoft Copilot. You can see that by just asking it to generate a presentation, it generates a great presentation for you. By just asking it to create for you a research document, it creates a research document in Word. So the innovation is huge. It's still not released, but this is a heads up. Keep your finger on the pulse, because I do. And I think this is going to automate a lot of processes for us in our daily work. So with this, I want to recommend a couple of books and movies if you're excited as I am. So Life 3.0, at this point, this is my very favorite book because it talks about being a human in the age of AI. It examines how to reap the benefits of automation without replacing people. It's really interesting because it talks about evolution. If you're interested about AI world and the technology, but you're a non-tech person, this is the book that I recommend by Tom Tolley. You can find it on Amazon as I did, but maybe it also has online version. If you feel like entertaining yourself, the two most favorite movies by me is The Imitation Game, and this describes the Alan Turing and his test that we talked about earlier. And Wall-E, a great movie to watch with kids. So this is probably the greatest science fiction movie, and it's also the epitome of artificial narrow intelligence. So again, an interesting movie to watch. I want to thank everyone who stayed with me till now. Also, heads up, all of the images in this presentation were generated in a couple of seconds using Midjourney. And for this slide, I asked Midjourney to generate a flying rabbit who is thankful for staying with us, and this is what I got. If you're interested, if you have questions, please go on, and we can also stay in touch via LinkedIn if you feel like. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you so much, Leah. It was really, I already have plans for the weekend, just to start some some additional pet project. Yeah, now I have all the steps that I need. Thank you so much. And as we have around 10 minutes to answer the questions from the audience. And the first that was asked on We Are Community platform was, can you please tell me more about the confidentiality of using customer-related information in accordance with using these tools? Could you please answer?
So thank you very much for this question. It is really important to keep this in mind. Obviously, my presentation did not cover the security part because it entirely depends on the situation and on the usage, why you use it. So there is some very security sensitive information that obviously we should not put into the technology that is not verified by our company. But there is also information that we can. Additionally, these tools allow you to set up your personal servers to work on. And if that's the case, obviously your company will also be informing you, and you will be more free to use such tools in your daily work. For example, to upload the feature usage Excel file into a tool, that is definitely a security concern. But if it's approved by the company, or if the data is approved, you can definitely do it. But it depends on the situation. So you need to keep in mind the security guidelines by the company. And in regards to this, I want to mention that be careful, because the world is still in shock by this innovation, and especially the legal sphere. So there is the EU AI law, AI Act that's still in progress. America introduces some acts. So it is important to keep the finger on pulse of this, but because it's still not defined, it's really hard to define what these technologies can do. So check before uploading any data into any tool, even ChatGPT, because obviously there are security concerns. You need to check with your company, with your case, and the situations are also different.
Think twice always. Yeah.
Definitely,
That's
definitely.
a great recommendation for every life case, I think. Thank you so much. And I think we received one question, but I think all of us are wondering, how do you get access to not yet released features? Because
So,
it looks like you already know everything that is to come, yeah, in some time period. Please share with us your secrets.
this is interesting. I really feel great that you feel so about me, but there's a lot of technology that I'm still checking my email to receive the access. So it's different and it's based on cases. What I do, I follow some of my favorite blogs and that post about new AI technology, and I follow these features. I follow them on Bloomberg or on Google, Amazon AI blogs. They have the AI specific blogs that are really interesting. OpenAI also has a blog. Actually, as an interesting fact about this, some of you might remember that before ChatGPT, we had GPT-3, and it was back in 2020 or 21. And back then, I worked on different AI products. I was creating different MVPs and proof of concepts. And I really needed access to GPT-3 to create a proof of concept for the product I worked back then. But the access was closed because OpenAI had an application form that you had to submit, and you had to wait for weeks before they decide if they are going to provide the access to you or not. Because again, there are a lot of privacy and security concerns. There could be people who would generate really scary texts. I filled in that application. It was not that long, but it took me around 10-15 minutes to fill in the application. And the next day, I was lucky enough that the next day I received the access to GPT-3. The interface was really far from what you see on ChatGPT, but an example of how I got access, we obviously created a proof of concept. We didn't put it into production because that was not the intention, but this is one example of how a very closed beta release can happen. Another way, for example, for Visily that I introduced, the wireframing tool, I'm still waiting for the access, but this Visily tool introduced a waiting list. So you can input your email and you're just waiting for your turn to have access and provide feedback. Again, some of these tools, because AI is so new, some of these tools don't operate at the highest quality. But as PAs and product managers, we know that in the beginning we don't need the highest quality. We just need the proof of concept. So there are various ways. This is how I do it. You just follow the technology and you wait for its release, either for a public release or you sign up by application.
That's great. Thank you so much. I think that all of us have to subscribe to to these things here to keep up to date and to be as progressive in this topic here in this sphere as you are. That's great. Yeah, just a couple of additional questions here that I'd like to highlight. In addition to all the warm words that people are sending in on YouTube chat, thank you so much. Yeah, basically just in a couple of words, you were amazing, Leah, and the
Thank you,
presentation was
Natalia.
really informative and great. Yeah, we've got a lot of such comments. Thank you. And so just a couple of questions. Briefly, could you please touch upon the topic of these threats, yeah, about ChatGPT and other AIs, yes, taking our jobs potentially. We have touched upon this in your presentation, but what I want to ask you about is how can we utilize AI to shape the future of our of work, yeah, in our life. It will
Mhm.
be helpful to understand better.
Yeah, thank you for your question. It's a really interesting one. Um, I like this topic a lot because currently, when people think about new technology, they're either scared or they're excited. And I'm kind of in the middle usually. I'm always really excited, but it's also scary. But I'm not being scared. I'm trying to be predictive. So, what this means, I firmly believe that AI is going to enhance our lives the way internet did, the way the other technologies did. Like the creation of paper was also a similar innovation to me, because by creating paper, we were able to create books, and by creating books, we were able to take books from the aristocracy to the general public. So back then, books were not available for everyone, but by just creating the printing press, uh, we could we could make it available to everyone. So this is a similar technology for me in that sense, because obviously some job functions are going to be cut, but we are not going to be jobless, because the world needs us. We're not going to stay without work, and there's always a lot to do. I also read an interesting research that the focus is going to be more on environment in the future, because AI is going to automate so much of our daily tasks that we will finally have time to think about the environmental issues of the world, global warming, and various other issues. So I think it's the matter of how we will use this technology. I hope that answers your question. So we need to look into how we use it and what we use the time allocated by AI towards.
Yeah, thank you so much. And just one last, I believe, question from the audience for POC. Which tool you consider to be the best? Which would you use, yeah, if you had to create some proof of concept, yeah, something like that?
So for probably by proof of concept, we think about wireframes. I think I'm not really sure what the person would refer to, but let me either specify in the chat, but let me a little bit elaborate. I think it depends what kind of POC you want to create. So I would definitely, my first go-to tool is Midjourney, and I'm able to even generate high fidelity UI screens that are exactly to be used on the production. So you can definitely generate these screens and automate them in Figma or Illustrator and present it. That is my go-to tool. But obviously, everything changes so fast. We might have some really nice tools that we can describe the product and they would generate the idea for us. Again, it depends on what product POC we want to generate. If it's a feature, obviously maybe Midjourney won't work and you will have to use Adobe Firefly, for example.
Yes, that's great. That's great. Okay, then I think it's time to say thank you once again, Leah. It was really great to hear about such practical steps to use AI in our life. And I let me remind, yeah, that organizers of the conference are really waiting for your feedbacks and for suggestions of some topics for the future conferences. We are really excited to have you here with us. And it's time for us to say goodbye. Very soon, the next lecture is going to begin. So thank you for being here with us. Thank you, Leah, for presenting this great presentation. And
Thank you so
see
much.
you. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.